Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to episode 3 of everything I wish I had known before I started breastfeeding. And before we fully get into it, I just want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. There are like 500 of you that just came out of the woodwork. So welcome. Welcome to the community of moms, of spiritual baddie moms. Yeah, I'm so sorry that this took longer than anticipated. Spirit has just been really calling me to like do my soul purpose, my soul mission work, which is money coaching, all the spirit side stuff. And there's other videos if you want to see that. But without further ado, so episode 3 is about, I'm going to throw a few terms out there. Post-weaning, it's referred to as post-weaning anxiety, post-weaning depression, and like they're both like clinical, obviously, and I want to add some more to that because some people don't experience it to the fullest extent of anxiety and depression, but it's grief. I think that's the most common layer of it, is post-weaning grief. And anyone who's been a mother can experience this. Doesn't matter what your breastfeeding journey looked like. And I really wish I knew about this, because then I could have prepared about the support after I had stopped nursing my baby. And so post-weaning grief is like literally this feeling of loss after you stop nursing your baby. Sometimes that feeling of loss can really compound and fester into anxiety and depression. And there is a factor of that that's hormonal, because you get a really, you get an oxytocin high off of feeding your baby. And I don't want to I'm not, by no means am I degrading breastfeeding as like, yeah, you're just getting high. Like, no, it's like you're having this bond and you're feeding, and there's a hormonal component, and at some point your baby stops, and there's this also this emotional aspect of like your baby will never need you in that way ever again, and there is a sadness to that. And I feel like I deeply wish I had known. In episode 2, we talked about just how I'm working on my cussing because my toddler is asleep, but yeah, how MFing emotional it is. Like, it's gonna bring up a lot of things, a lot of past trauma, just your emotions are heightened. And when I say emotional, I don't just mean like sadness or crying. I think that's really stupid when people are like, I'm emotional. Like, emotions are more than just sadness. There's a full spectrum and then some. So I really do mean like it can bring up every possible emotion. And I've been very cozy in my blanket, so don't mind my lint. And I also, because it's post-weaning, I was like, oh, should this be at the end of the series? But I feel like this is really important now, because I thought I was gonna breastfeed for like 2 years, 3 years, and it ended up being cut short at 8 months, and I was actually supplementing with formula almost the entire time. And so you are totally valid. If you're supporting someone, please don't gaslight them and say, well, you never breastfed to begin with, like, where are you sad? Like, no, you are totally valid if you never even breastfed to begin with as a mother, and because of certain complications, because of just the way things happen, right? I don't have to go into the endless possible scenarios, just because of the way things happen. Your breastfeeding journey did not go as planned, and you ended up not feeding your baby that way. And so yeah, I really just want to validate and emphasize, like, you are totally valid in feeling heartbroken, even if your breastfeeding journey started with you attempted, it didn't work out, you chose formula, you chose fed is best. That's okay. You're still a good mom. You are still a good mom. You made sure your baby's alive and fed. And as far as nourishment, you made sure that they're loved. And that is so important. Like, please never doubt that. Please never let anyone, MFing, I caught myself, gaslight you and belittle you and poop talk you. This is great. I miss cussing. Don't let anyone poop talk you. This is the thing now. Into thinking that you're like a bad mom for not feeding your child the way they think you should. Like, no. Formula is a blessing. Fed is best. New mantras. Formula is a blessing. Fed is best. Formula is a blessing. Fed is best. A. Like, oh my god. And what else do I want to say about this? So typically, okay, yeah, I want to like give timelines. So yeah, for some people, they may experience this at the beginning. I have friends who only managed to nurse their baby at the breast for like 2 weeks and pumped for a few months, and then just that was the end of their journey, and that was that. For other people, they've experienced this and they nurse their baby for 2-3 years and they still experience post-weaning grief. The anxiety and depression levels really just depend. That, like, all of this is person to person, but all of them, every single one of them, experience the baseline, which is grief and a feeling of loss and sadness and heartbreak, because that journey came to an end, even if it didn't begin. So I feel like it's worth knowing that. It's worth knowing that if you're pregnant, if you plan on getting pregnant, if you're somebody's baby daddy watching this, if you're a friend to someone who is nursing and is going through this and really doesn't understand what they're going through. Like, I didn't get it. I thought I was weird. It wasn't until other moms on the internet were like, nah, this is really real, and nobody tells you till you go through it. And it's really rough. It's really hard. I'll share a little bit about my story after. Actually, no, it's not that loud. So I stopped nursing at 8 months. But I always had a difficulty from day one. Baby just wouldn't latch. The nurses pretty much were like, well, you need to like force the bottle, the little formula bottles they give you in the hospital, in and out of baby's mouth. Make sure they get, like, force the drops in. Literally, like, that's what they're saying. And so I didn't really have the support. I didn't know about postpartum anxiety. I didn't know about nipple shields until I ended up using one. Which those will be other episodes, but yeah, like, my baby started on formula and I thought I was gonna breastfeed for like years. I pumping really made my skin and that being crawl. I despised it. It felt horrible, and I've heard people experience this with having baby at the breast, so everyone's different. Some people prefer to pump, others prefer to have baby at the breast. For some of them, they just don't like it, and that's okay. That's valid. Your experience is valid. This is something I want to emphasize throughout this whole series. Your experience may be polar opposite of mine, and that's fine. Like, obviously there are billions of humans on the planet. Not everyone's gonna resonate with the one experience. That's okay. It's okay if your experience is valid. No. Your experience is valid regardless. It's okay if your experience is different. So yeah, baby started on formula. I had the wrong flange size for a while. When baby would latch, he was chomping. I was bleeding. It was horrible. Honestly, it was horrible. Everyone around me was like, "You sure you don't want to stop? Like, you know you can stop, right? Like, this is really taking a toll on you." And I stuck it out for 8 months until DMER, dysphoric milk ejection reflex, really kicked in for me at that 8-month mark, which I described that in episode 2, but I'll describe it here. DMER is essentially feelings of hopelessness, sadness, homesickness, irritation, anger, irritability around nursing, and they only happen. So the way to discern this between DMER, dysphoric milk ejection reflex, and say postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression is that you only think and feel this way during feedings, or 10 minutes to an hour before a feeding or after a feeding, not 24/7 all the time. It's just these feelings as they relate to the feeding or feedings. And some of those symptoms are happening with me. It can even go as far as like feeling suicidal, contemplating suicide. And I share this because the system, at least in the United States, I'm in the United States, is so quick to just say, you have postpartum depression, when really you're going through dysphoric. You could be, I'm not diagnosing you, you could be experiencing dysphoric milk ejection reflex. And to my knowledge, there is support for that, but like, I didn't hear about it until, again, moms on the internet, you guys, until a mom on the internet was like, yeah, I went through this, and I didn't even realize it until like a year later. Like, I didn't have the words for this. I honestly thought something was really wrong with me. And if you're experiencing this, or you have experienced this, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just going through some ish. And it's kind of normal. Or like, it's normal. It's more, how do I say this? What you're going through is normal. The lack of support around it shouldn't be normalized. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I experienced that at 8 months. I got to a point where feedings just made my skin crawl. Feedings in general made my skin crawl. I would like think to myself, like, God, please make this end. Like, I can't keep doing this. So for that reason, I am so grateful and happy and blessed to exist in a time when formula exists. Like, we're very blessed. And I feel called to share this too. Like, I had a little bit of mom guilt because I stopped during a formula shortage. Like, I was really doing the best I could to give baby nourishment from my body. And I felt really bad that I had to stop, but it was the best decision for me, for my well-being, for my baby's well-being, to stop. And so I just want to encourage anyone who, if you've gone through that, if you're going through that right now, like, it's okay to stop. If you're experiencing that, if you stopped weaning your baby, you stopped feeding your baby, and you feel like shit. You really feel, yeah, it came out. You feel horrible. Like, that's okay. You're in a very sensitive transition period, and it may take some time to feel, I don't know, like you're bonding with your baby, happy again, and you will be happy again. I promise you're gonna bond with your baby. You know all those just wait, the negative just waits? Let me give you some positive just waits. Just wait until your baby intentionally hugs you. Just wait until they give you a kiss. What are my neighbors doing? Oh my god. Yeah, just wait until your baby gives you a kiss. What else? This is a little more toddler phase, but when they give you a high five, and your baby says mama. What else? The first time they reach their arms up for you and they want to be held. What else? Ooh, when they're like, you're holding them, but they intentionally like cuddle you. Just wait. Those are not all, those are some of the many new ways of bonding you're gonna have with your baby, maybe toddler. Some of these are a little more toddler phase, but like toddler, baby toddler, yeah. So just wait, it gets really, really good. Ow. If the microphone picked that up, that was my knee. So yeah, I hope this video finds you well, and if you know a mom, if you have mom friends, if you're gonna support a mom, if you know someone who's gonna support a mom, yeah, share this with them. This is super valuable information. So especially as support people, like, don't go gaslighting these people, don't go gaslighting these women, these moms. Yeah, don't do that. So with that, have a beautiful night. Have a happy full moon in Leo. I'm recording this on the 4th of February, so full moon's coming up. What? Okay. Yeah. Much love. Bye.